Meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you're with us. And we are also glad for the folks watching online that you are with us as well. We will begin, as we always do, with an invocation, and Eric Hoy from Presbyterian Church is going to lead us in prayer. Please stand.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Let us pray. Holy and loving Father, we come before you at the beginning of the new year, praising you and thanking you for the new beginnings. Thank you for this new fiscal court, and we pray that you give each person before me wisdom to make decisions that affect the lives of all who live in this community. May they seek understanding from you for the well-being of those who live and work in this county. Today we pause and we pray for those who work for this county. Thank you for their service each day as they maintain the essential operations of this county. Let them feel appreciated for all that they do. Smile upon them and their work that they do with each day. We pray for the business before the fiscal court this morning and remind us that each joy and celebration is evidence of your hand blessing our community. And so we submit this agenda and this work and this day to you with thanksgiving. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Here.
Magistrate Southard.
Here.
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
And we welcome the new members of Fiscal Court. Glad you're with us, Magistrate Tompkins, Magistrate Starks.
Thank you.
Going to be a great 4 years, and we're going to get you off on the right foot with a lengthy Fiscal Court meeting. So bear with us. You have before you the minutes of the December 2022 Fiscal Court meeting after a period of review. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any other questions, clarifications, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's Judges Scholar Day. Once a month, we honor the best and brightest in our school system. And today from South Middle School, we have Gray Eliza Hobgood, who I would like to meet me right up here in front of the podium. Thank you. It's a great day. Glad you're here. We're going to read a special proclamation now.
Whereas Gray Eliza Hopgood has been chosen by South Middle School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities. And whereas Gray Eliza's hard work, dedication in making the most of educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success. And whereas success is measured many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking necessary steps for overall improvement, and whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Gray Eliza's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant, because students such as Gray Eliza Hopgood will be our future leaders. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson Fiscal Court to proclaim January 10th, 2023 as Gray Eliza Hopgood Day in Henderson County.
Now, can we get family members? Come on up. Everyone wants to give a picture. Okay. Got to balance out.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and I know your family's proud, and as evidenced by the turnout today, you got a big fan club. So we'll be saying some nice things again later in the meeting, but for now we've got to dive in, and I warned you, as Steve Gold often says, the business of government is not always exciting, but it's important, so hang in there. It'll be all right. First order of business, you see Planning Commission recommendation, case number 1138. Without any further comments from the court, we can move on to the next item, which is standing orders. Brenda Ryder, come on up.
Per KRS 68.275, Section 3, certain reoccurring expenses can be pre-approved each fiscal year. These orders generally expire June 30th of each year, and although these have already been approved by the state local finance officer for this current fiscal year, they need to be reapproved at the beginning of a new term. And you have received a copy of these.
So these are our normal expenses that don't necessarily have to be approved in claims every single meeting. They're just the stuff that we know we're going to have to pay, like utilities, and so that's why.
Utilities, payroll, anything payroll related, postage, and some grants.
Anybody have any questions? Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Standing orders.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
And in fact, we have a lot of kind of rote beginning of the year things that are on this agenda. And with the court's forbearance, I'd like to allow our fiscal court clerk to read the summary instead of reading the whole resolution, because we got a lot to cover. Again, these are for the things that are going to be just normal run of business. You should have received a copy of our committees and boards. I think I've communicated with each of you about your preferences. We'd like to submit this to the clerk to start. Now, if any of you have any challenges or issues or want to think about something else, let me know. We're going to submit this because we have to. And but nothing is written in stone. If anything on there doesn't agree with you, let me know. And to begin with, we'll entertain a motion to approve these appointments.
I so move.
You have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is the holiday schedule, as well as the meeting and time schedule. Again, we meet second and fourth Tuesdays. This is the plan again this year. We're planning one meeting for December due to the holidays. And you see the holidays at the bottom of that list. These are unchanged from last year. Any questions? So first I'll need a motion to accept the holiday schedule.
So move.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll also entertain a motion to approve the meetings, times, and dates schedule.
So moved. Second.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Still with us, Gray? All right, good deal. Next is the sheriff's settlement. As you might have read in the clerk's instructions, these are required every time there's a change in the sheriff's office. And Chip Soffer is with us, our new sheriff. And Chip, I'll welcome any further comments you'd like to make.
I brought reinforcements for questions.
This
No,
is
I
kind of
mean-
a settlement, mid-year settlement as you take
Take over
office
for
and- yeah.
former Sheriff Crafton.
Right.
It's what I'm responsible for collecting for the remainder of the year.
Yeah. Any questions about that? So we'll entertain a motion to approve the tax settlements. Oh, well, we'll accept them. Thank you very much. The other thing is, and stay up here with us, as we mentioned in the orientation meeting, KRS requires that the sheriff submit a proposed budget to the state that he promises not to exceed. And this is something the state requires, but the true budget for the sheriff will be determined in our budgeting process later this spring with Chip's input. This is a guesstimate, but again, it has to be submitted to the state. Any questions about that?
And just so you know, it's not just a flat-out arbitrary figure. We've averaged the last 5 years, so to give us some actual numbers, it's not just a total shot in the dark.
It's a good foundation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, without any further questions, Chip, I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Chip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was easy, right? Trying to get through my tall stack here. Next is the resolution authorizing county attorney's office to collect jail fees. Again, this is wrote beginning of the year. If anybody really wants us to read that whole resolution, we will, but I think it's exactly what it says it is. Again, we renew this every year, so. Steve, anything?
This is a situation that's been in place actually prior to me becoming county attorney, but it's just allows people to make payments on the jail fees. They can make them at the jail or they can make them at the county attorney's office.
So a motion to approve that?
So move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And for Taylor and Bill, please don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm going through this a little quickly, but there's a lot to do. Next, as required, we are reappointing all county employees and reaffirming interlocal agreements for the new fiscal year, specifically 3 employees that serve 4-year terms with the fiscal courts: our county road engineer, Nick Stallings, road supervisor, Glenn Cummings, and emergency management director, Kenny Garrett. Excuse me.
We'll need to read this one out.
And Kurt says we do need to read this one entirely, so. Any questions about this? Again, standard operating procedure, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Not that I want to read it out entirely, but it is some specifics on here. A resolution relating to the Henderson County Fiscal Court, reappointing county employees and reaffirming interlocal agreements for a new fiscal court term. Whereas the judge executive is authorized to reappoint county employees with the approval of fiscal court pursuant to KRS 67.7107. And whereas the judge executive is authorized to appoint a county engineer and/or a road supervisor for a term not exceeding 4 years, whose salary shall be fixed by the fiscal court pursuant to KRS 179.020. And whereas the judge executive is authorized to appoint a local emergency management director for a term not exceeding 4 years pursuant to KRS 39B.020. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court deems it in the best interest of Henderson County to continue existing interlocal agreements. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court County of Henderson as follows. 1. The Fiscal Court hereby approves the appointment of these employees as noted below to the Fiscal Court term commencing on January 10th, 2023. The position and title and compensation level for all employees shall remain unchanged and shall be consistent with the FY23 budget and adopted pay plan. The reappointments are as follows. Nick Stallings, County Road Engineer, for a 4-year commitment commencing January 10th, 2023 per KRS 179.0207. Glenn Cummings is the County Road Supervisor for a 4-year term commencing on January 10th, 2023 per KRS 179.0207. And Kenny Garrett, Emergency Management Director for a 4-year term commencing on January 10th, 2023 per KRS 39B.020. Section 2, all other full-time, part-time, and seasonal employees that the county that were employed as of January 10th, 2023 and who have not been dismissed are hereby reappointed by the Fiscal Court to their current position at their current rate of pay as of the date of this resolution, notwithstanding any action by this Fiscal Court to the contrary. A list of the said employees and their compensation is attached hereto and incorporated herein. All duly elected constitutional officers are authorized to use their discretion regarding the employment of their staff and rates of pay within the applicable budget restraints, notwithstanding any action of the Fiscal Court to the contrary. In Section 3, all existing interlocal agreements as of December 31st, 2022 are hereby reaffirmed by the Henderson Fiscal Court as being in full force and effect during this term, notwithstanding an action by the Fiscal Court to the contrary.
Any questions? Getting a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, resolution authorizing the jailer to accept bond release fees. Again, this is normal procedure. Steve, anything to add to that? Any questions about that?
Just to explain, the bonds are, by law, generally would be paid just at the circuit clerk's office. Those are not hours that are necessarily convenient for people that are under arrest or families of those who are under arrest. And it has worked out in the past for the jails to be the ones actually collecting this and accounting for it, particularly on the lower level misdemeanors or something like that. It's been beneficial to the jail.
Any other questions?
And from what I've read in the packet, basically our treasurer helps make sure all the funds are going where they need to as far as how that money is eventually dispersed. Is that
Brenda,
how it works?
do you receive these bond payments, or do they go right to the circuit court clerk? Yeah, I think they do.
Oh, is that something else then maybe I'm getting that confused with?
Yeah.
Okay.
My understanding is the jailer and the circuit clerk
Yeah.
Yes.
handle that
Okay, so
together
it's
because
straight.
The
Okay.
circuit clerk is audited on all of those funds.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is approval of bonds for elected officials. We get those through KCO, and we have ordered them, if I'm not mistaken, so need a motion to approve our compliance with that state statute.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay. Thank you for getting through those. A little housekeeping. Now, as you may recall, when the Pratt Industries announcement was made. The county participated in the incentive package that was put together by our community to recruit them here, and the fiscal court's part of the whole deal was $1 million to build an access road onto the property that would eventually become a city street. That is happening right now. The city is contracting that, and we are going to repay the city for the cost up to $1 million. That's our contribution. And we are beginning now to get those bills in, so we thought now would be a good time to go ahead and amend the $1 million into our budget and begin to fulfill our part of the deal. And that's what this resolution is for, is acknowledging that and giving us the approval to go ahead and start making these payments. Steve, any other comments on that?
I believe the way that it's set up to work is that the city is providing invoices to Brenda, and then
Right.
there is a process in this resolution that would allow some sort of oversight to make sure that it's actually related to the construction of that road, but then it would allow Brenda to pay that claim through the regular claims process to the city.
That's what I was going to ask. I wanted to make sure that we had means to monitor, just to
Yeah.
double check, checks and balances there.
And if I could, just maybe for the public to know that this will be actually a city street. Once it's completed, we will not be maintaining that.
That's right.
That access road.
That's right.
And
Any other questions?
there's some requirements that Pratt has to meet before we're actually may have to reimburse the money, I guess is what I'm saying, if they don't meet a certain criteria.
They are subject to those state guidelines, but of course, we need to help pay for the road now that they're building.
Right.
But there will be recourse if for some reason they do not. And Missy Vanderpool is with us from Economic Development. Anything you'd like to add? So, any other questions?
I would just say be careful. I just came through that area 425. There is a ton of trucks and truck traffic, and especially utility trucks, it looks like right now. And with the access road going in, you'll see even more of that. So be careful out there. That's all I have.
Yeah, good advice. Any other questions before we read the resolution? I want to go ahead and read the whole thing.
Resolution authorizing road fund grant to the City of Henderson, Kentucky, up to $1 million for the construction of access roads to Pratt Paper LLC's industrial site on the condition that said company continues to meet the criteria for incentives offered by the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development under the Kentucky Business Investment Act. Whereas Pratt Paper LLC has applied for and has received preliminary approval for inducements from the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development totaling over $20 million to locate an industrial facility in Henderson, Kentucky, which will create at least 321 new full-time Kentucky resident positions, paying an average hourly wage of $30 an hour, excluding benefits, and a capital investment of at least $396 million. Whereas Henderson County has been an active participant with the entire team of local government agencies and utilities in incentivization of Pratt Paper to locate in Henderson County, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court passed a resolution in July 2021 authorizing a memorandum of understanding with Henderson Economic Development, City of Henderson, Henderson Water Utility, and Pratt Paper LLC, in which Henderson County agreed to offer incentives to induce Pratt Industries to locate in Henderson County, including an agreement to provide the city a road fund grant up to $1 million to be used towards the construction of the access roads to the project site. And whereas the city has begun construction on the access roads to the project site and has advised Henderson County that costs are currently being incurred, now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court of the County of Henderson, Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows. 1. In compliance with Henderson County's obligations under the aforementioned Economic Development Incentive Memorandum of Understanding with, among others, the City of Henderson and Pratt Paper LLC, the County Treasurer is hereby authorized and directed to pay any and all properly presented invoices provided by the City of Henderson directly related to the construction of access roads related to the Pratt Industry Development Site up to a sum of $1 million. Said payment shall be paid through regular claims process of the Henderson Fiscal Court. Number 2, upon request of the County Judge Executive, payment of all said invoices shall be subject to verification by county personnel that the invoices are specifically related to the construction of access roads at the Pratt Economic Development Project site, and shall also be subject to verification by the Henderson Economic Development that Pratt Paper LLC remains eligible for and in compliance with the terms of its state incentives through the Kentucky Economic Development Cabinet and other state agency with oversight thereof.
Any questions?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Last year, right towards the end of the year, we found out that, Jessica LaRue, our occupational tax administrator, was going to be leaving to join the law firm KT Williams, and she had done a terrific job, but felt like she really wanted to utilize her degree in some fashion. And she had also been helping our Codes Enforcement Board. That's a new board that we convened last year to begin to put a little bit more teeth in our Codes Enforcement practices. And for a few extra dollars, I think $2,000, we convinced her to also act as secretary of that board, not really understanding how much work it would take. It was a new experience for us. As it turned out, our purpose was evident right away. We began to do a lot of activity to help bring people in violation of codes into compliance or begin to face fees. And she was part and parcel in making sure that fee process and the process of applying liens to properties that needed to be cleaned up went smoothly as well. And it ended up being a lot more work than we anticipated. And when she decided to leave and we hired Allison Consular to take her place, it was pretty apparent that Allison, in learning the occupational tax job, which was her primary position, may not have the time or the expertise to handle that secretary's position with Codes Enforcement Board, and Jessica strongly recommended that we hire somebody else part-time to help Randy Tassa and serve the Code Enforcement Board. And the fiscal court agreed to a part-time salary of up to $12,000. Meanwhile, we started to recruit and try to find a good candidate. And with Steve Gold's help, we did find somebody, an attorney named Jeff Ellis, who already works part-time, I think, for the county attorney's office. And
Yes, he's a fully state-paid, part-time assistant county attorney.
and also has a lot of experience in land issues. And I made the offer to him to begin this work, and he accepted. And I'm glad that we're able to find somebody to step in immediately who has enough experience that it won't take a whole lot of run-up time to get him up to speed with this. He's worked with Jessica, learned as much as he could. We've worked out some details to help him, because this is not his full-time position. But so I'm going to recommend to the fiscal court that we hire Jeff Ellis at a salary rate equal to $12,000 a year, part-time. That means no benefits, no vacation, just part-time work, to take over the Code Enforcement Board Secretary position from Jessica LaRue.
I'd just like to be clear, this is not the county attorney's office taking over the Code
right.
Enforcement Board stuff. This is
Separate from
independent
that.
employment that the judge approached Jeff about.
Separate from that. So can I get a motion to approve Jeff at that salary rate?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? I will say, just so you know, the new Code Enforcement Board has already, through its processes and through the hard work of Randy Tassa and Jessica, has already brought $22,000 in fees and fines to the court. That's not why we're in business. That's not necessarily the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to make sure people follow the law. But it is creating a teeth to our codes enforcement.
What those fees represent what those fees represent is abated or cleaned up properties. And that's what did not exist prior to the Code Enforcement Board. Previously, what would happen is Randy would have to take a case to the criminal court, and sometimes things would get continued out there, and it would be months, sometimes in a couple cases even years, before there was actually any abatement able to occur. And in this situation with the Code Enforcement Board, it's much more nimble and much more able to get those liens put on quickly and get, some sort of action spurred by that homeowner. And so it's something that has been more efficient both for Randy and also something that those neighbors who are dealing with issues seem to be happy with, because it's producing results a little bit quicker.
Right. So, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now the fun starts. We have several bits of business bid out, and we're going to be opening those bids, and bear with us as we do this. It's always kind of a lengthy process. But I'm going to ask Nick Stallings to help with this. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, James Bosler, he's going to talk to us about the bid recommendation for courthouse cleaning and judicial center cleaning. This is a annual contract that we bid out last meeting, and we received bids, and James and I reviewed these, and he's bringing a recommendation to court.
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
As most of you know, the cleaning crew that we have in place now has not been the best. The PBA office was vacuuming their own carpets this morning. So I suggest that we go with Clean Team out of Evansville. For the courthouse, we are paying $33.70 a month. With Clean Team, we're going to be paying $2,800, which is a saving of $570. For the Judicial Center, we are paying $4,300 a month. And with Clean Team, we would be paying $4,350, which is $50 more. So inevitably, we're saving $520. It's not much, but savings is savings, and it's time to change. It has been a hassle.
Yeah.
Communication has not been great. I do not find out that they have employees that are going to be on vacation or going to be sick until the day of, and then they don't have anybody to fill in. And as a taxpayer myself, as much as everybody else is here, I'm pretty sure you don't want county employees having to clean when we are paying for a contract already.
It's been a bit of a struggle.
It has.
This is a one-year contract.
Yes, with the option to
So,
extend 3
Upon
years.
Upon acceptance of this recommendation from Mr. Bosler, we'll be working on nailing down the final details of the contract with Clean Team, and we'll be presenting that to fiscal court at the next meeting.
Okay. I got a question, Judge. Steve, this contract, like they're not doing their job, I know we could extend it. Can we shorten their contract if they're not doing the job? In other words, can we, maybe it's
What
stupid
recourse
question.
do
No,
we have
one
if they're
thing I
not
always
doing
want to
well?
make sure is if there's poor performance, that there's an out. Sometimes it requires advance notice for when the out is. but-
Okay.
May I suggest also that in the off chance that county employees do have to clean, that we keep track of the hours that we are being billed for by them, say 4 hours a night, that 4 hours either comes off our payment for that month, or they are responsible for paying the county employees to do so, which it would be overtime for them in almost every case.
In some ways, that almost encourages them to rely on
Exactly.
that when they're in a jam, though. So there's pros and cons with putting
Yeah.
something like that in a contract.
Understood. We may nail that out later, but the basic recommendation is for Clean Team.
Yes.
There is a cost savings you identified, but I think even more than that, I think effective delivery of services is probably the
Is
number
the-
one thing.
yeah.
It's been a struggle, so. But in this case, hopefully we get both. And it's a one-year contract. It's kind of a tryout for Clean Team. We'll just see what happens. But any other questions about this?
Well, I was just going to ask, it looks like with their bid, they actually had more information. I think they met a lot of what we asked for in that prospectus that we put out for bid, right?
Yes, sir.
as opposed to some of the other
I'm
bids that were
pretty sure it was
received.
the only one that met what we asked for.
That's what
Yeah.
it seemed like to me, yes.
So, we have a recommendation for the court. Look for a motion to approve.
I
So
move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. New magistrate's getting the hang of trying to fit in a second and a motion. You get the hang? Yeah. Any other questions for James? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a similar contract for the Judicial Center across the street. And I'll turn it over to you again. Your recommendation is going to be Clean Team.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit more about the bid difference?
Like I said, it costs us $50 more a month to clean over there, which for as big a building as that is, that's not a whole lot. And like I said, they did bid out exactly what y'all were looking for, what the county had asked for.
And France right now, our current vendor, handles both. This is not unusual. They handle both. And I think in the Judicial Center, it's been a bit of a challenge sometimes too. So,
Not as much as it has been here.
yeah.
As the building that writes the checks, I'd say this should be the one that they take care of first. That's just my
And
opinion.
remind me, we get reimbursement from AOC for cleaning. Yeah, we get reimbursement for the state on this, so that's good. Any questions on that? We have a recommendation to accept Clean Team's bid for the Judicial Center. Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you. You keep the courthouse and the facilities looking very nice.
Okay, Nick, here we go. Got several road department-related bids to open, starting with materials. We don't anticipate asking you to make any votes on these today. They often require some review, but we do open them.
All right, first I have is Hazix.
This is going to be for aggregates, right?
Yes, it's for rock material. All right, they have they submitted for 4 different types of aggregate. For example, 57s, 25, 45, picked up ton. They've got some delivery cost at $5.50 per ton, and they got 9s, DGA's $21.50. They got riprap, small class 1 riprap, 10-inch. So I'll put this along with the others. Next one we have is ASG through Moit for their rock. They bid for 8 different types of aggregate. Number 3 stones, $19.75 a ton. DGA's $20 a ton. 57's $20.50. They got river sand at $12.50. So I've got theirs also. They didn't have a delivery cost, which typically we don't ever have it delivered. We've got trucks to take care of that.
Nick, are you not reading off each of the bids?
No, you need me to?
Please do.
Oh, absolutely. All right.
That way nobody can claim later that
Abs-
anything was changed.
Awesome. All right. So we got another Hazix. This Hazix Construction, 57s. They've got 25.45 per picked up ton. They also have a $5.50 per ton delivery charge. 9Ms, which are small rock, they have a $28.17 per ton. The same delivery charge. DGA, they're at $21.50 per ton, same delivery charge. And the small class 1 riprap 10-inch is $26.90 a ton. That is their bids for their material.
How much was the riprap?
Rip wrap was $26.90.
Thank you.
Ottoman sand and gravel, they had number 3 stone, $19.75 a ton. Their 57s was $20.50. 68s, a little bit smaller rock, $21.50. They have they classify their 9Ms as 8s and 9s, about the same size, at $22 a ton. DGA is sitting at $20 a ton. Their Class 2 rip wrap, which is a 12-inch, a little bit larger stone, $26 a ton. The river sand is $12.50, and the field gravel, which is, typically yard cleanup, various types, various sizes, really no gradation at all. It's $18.50, and they do not have a delivery charge, which again I said typically is something that we don't ever jump out after.
Thanks,
Anyways.
Nick. I know that's tedious, but it's
Yeah, I
important
know.
to get it
I
out
mean,
there.
and again, I'll more likely take an advisement and give you all copies. That way I can look at it, and then we would approve next court. Is that typical? Perfect. Just like Christmas, right? All right, so now we have, now we got this is Moser's for their aggregate, and they bidded everything. Their 3s, they have at $21.60 a ton. They have delivered to the lot at $28 per ton, and deliver anywhere in the county for $29.75 a ton. 57s, $21.60 also. We pick it up, $28 for them to deliver to our yard, $29.75 to deliver anywhere in the county. 68s at $23.80 a ton, delivered to the road department at $30.20 a ton, and delivered to anywhere in the county at $31.95. 9s, they got it $25.20 a ton, $31.60 delivered to the lot, and $33.35 delivered anywhere in the county. DGA they have is $20.85. Last picking those up, $27.25 delivered to the lot, and $29 delivered anywhere in the county. 10-inch rip wrap, which is our Class 1, $25.35 a ton, then $32.75 delivered to the lot, $34.50 delivered to the anywhere in the county. The Class 2 rip wrap, which is 12-inch, $25.35 picked up, $32.75 delivered to the lot, and $34.50 delivered to anywhere in the county. Our Class 3 rip wrap, which is a large cyclopene stone, 18-inch, is $26.45 a ton. We pick up $35.85 delivered to the lot, and $35.55 anywhere in the county. Field sand they have is $14.05, $20.45 delivered to the lot, and $22.20 anywhere in the county. Mortar sand, which is clean fine gradation, it's $17.10. The $23.50 is delivered to the lot, and $25.25 anywhere in the county. They did not bid river sand, river gravel, but they do have pea gravel, and that's at $21.45 a ton, with $27.85 delivered to the lot, and $29.60 delivered to anywhere in the county. And those are the 3 bids we have for rock material. All right, this is concrete bid. We got one bid from from Moit. $3,500 PSI is, we are sitting at $140 a yard, and 4,000 PSI is 144 a yard. We got non-structurable flowable fill, which typically call it diggable, is $90 a yard. And then structurable flowable fill, which got a little more cement in it, typical non-diggable, is $96 a yard. All right, we got culvert pipe through Ohio Valley Drainage. Wow. All right, we got everything. Okay, we have a 4-inch dual wall solid 20-foot sticks at $6.72 linear foot, which is $134.53 per stick. Have 6-inch dual wall, same length, at $211.91 per stick of 20 foot. We got 8-inch dual wall, 20-foot stick, $302.38. A 10-inch dual wall, 20 foot, $432.32 per stick. Then we have dual wall 18-inch by 20 foot long. That's your ASHTO standard that we'll typically use for cross drains at $488 per stick. 24-inch dual wall, 20 foot, same standard, $640 a stick. We have a solid 20-inch dual wall at $820 per stick. Then we have 36-inch dual wall at $1,165.58 per 20-foot run. We have 42-inch. That's for a 20-foot stick is $14.17. 48-inch dual wall 20-foot stick, it's $16.20. 60-inch, same 20-foot stick, that's $26.20. And that is the largest they have in the dual wall plastic polyethylene pipe. We have ADS couplers at $684 per coupler. We have snap coupling 6-inch, $16. 8-inch coupling at $21.88. 10-inch snap coupler at $30.10. We have 12-inch split coupler, $33.96. A 15-inch split coupler at $56.56. 18-inch split coupler at $96.40. And 24-inch split coupler at $101.96. 30-inch split coupler we have at $237.03. 36-inch split coupler we have at $285.82. 40-inch split coupler we have at $425. 48-inch split coupler we have at $491.11. And our 60-inch split coupler is $763.96. All right, that's a polyethylene pipe. Now we got Ohio Valley again for CMP corrugated metal pipe. Oh goodness! All right, we're in this again. Everybody sit still. All right, so we have. We got a problem. We got all kinds of things that. Okay, so our 12-inch, 16-gauge pipe is $15.65 a foot. Our 15-inch corrugated metal, all these are gauge 16s, there is $20.25 a foot. 18-inch is $24.40 a foot. 24-inch is $32 a foot. 30-inch is $41 a foot. 36-inch is $60.75 a foot. And then 42-inch, $70.85. 48-inch is $81 a foot. 54-inch is $123 a foot. Now we got arched pipe, sometimes called elliptical equivalent. That's if you got low cover height, but you still want the same capacity. A 17 inch by 13 inch, $21.50 a foot. 21 inch by 15 inch is a $26.85. 28 inch by 20 inch is $34 a foot. 35 by 24 is $43. 42 by 29 is $64.35. A 49 inch by 33 inch, $75.10. 57 by 38, $116.20, and 64 by 43 is $130.50 a foot. Now these are our larger pipes, and by the way, it'll be a test after this. I'm gonna ask you all prices and things. 60 inch for 14 gauge, it's $131 a foot. 66 inch corrugated metal is $140 a foot. 72 inch metal is $152.70. 78 inch metal is $215.70 a foot. 84 inch is $232 a foot. 90 inch is $248.30 a foot. 96 inch is $266.45. And 108 is $384.25. And the 120 inch, all those keeping tabs at home, is a 10-foot pipe, is $425.94 a linear foot. And we also have equivalent prices. They're at a 12-inch gauge. 66 by 51 is $190.75. 73 by 55 is $210 a foot. 81.59 is $228.10. 87 by 63 is $246.75. 95 by 61 is $255.20. 103 by 71 is $273.15. 112 by 75 is $293.10. 128 by 83 is $422.70 a foot. And a 142 by 91 is $450 a foot. So they also have band pricing, and they have a 12-inch band price for 2.5 times the price for linear foot of corresponding pipe. A 24-inch is 3 times the bid price for corresponding pipe. There will be a oversized freight charge for pipes greater than 96 inches wide or 45 foot long. So these pipes, they no longer are 20 inch lengths. Like I can get them full run at 40, 45, 50, 55 foot long. There will be an overcharge, which helps out on road crossings. If I don't have a joint, I don't have a sucking problem, right? So I can do that. Gives me, but it puts me at $1,215 per truck for an oversized large load. My minimum load price, order price, is $5,000. This puts a freight charge, which is one-time charge per freight is $650 a truck. And that's. All right, guys, this is awesome. That was all aluminized. All right, corrugated metal pipes, you got 2 different varieties. You got aluminized or you got polymer coated. Aluminized is basically their rust protection. Polymer coated is the black coating that goes in the pipe, and we got all different prices. Read them.
Yes.
So
Talk
why
to-
do we have to read these instead of being able to review them? If we get a
Well,
copy?
okay, so just to give you a little history on why these are read. You go back many years ago, the bids weren't even opened in fiscal court. They were at a separate time. And there would be just a few people, sometimes the vendors would be here and they would be opened. And then occasionally, and in other counties, there had been some issues where there had been some collusion, and somebody would have two sets of bids, and they go, oh, well, let's go with this one, but if it's not right, you just slip this in as mine because we're buddies, and it
Now
was a
it's for
problem.
record.
So it was decided years ago, the safest thing to do to make sure that there's no allegations of collusion and that it's above board and everybody knows what everybody bid is to read them at court. That being said, if the court doesn't want to do that, that's fine. It's just, it's safer. But I also know it makes for a really fun day for Nick once a year.
I mean, and I just got one more sheet.
Well, you're doing a great job.
It's like-
That's what I was going to say, and take a breath when you need to.
No, I mean, I'm running a mile, and I'm going to stop a little short. I don't like doing that, right? I'm going to go ahead and run that mile. All right, so this right here is polymer coated. 12-inch, same gauge, 16 is $22.25 a foot. 15-inch is $26.60 a foot. So those keeping notes, a little bit more expensive for polymer coated. 18-inch is $33.50 a foot. 24-inch is $42.30 a foot. 30-inch is $53.80 a foot. 36-inch is $81.20. 42-inch is $93.40. 48-inch is $106.60 a foot. 54-inch is $116.40. Now do the equivalent prices. 17 by 13 is $29.45 a foot. 21-inch by 15-inch is $36.50 a foot. 28-inch by 20-inch is $46.55 a foot. 35-inch by 24-inch is $58.90 a foot. 42-inch by 29-inch is $87.60. 49-inch by 33-inch 14 gauge is $102.55. 57 by 38. It moved up to 12 gauge, $158.55. 64-inch by 43-inch, 12 gauge also, and that's $177.60 a foot. Now the larger pipe is 14 gauge, 60-inch is $174.20 a foot. 66-inch is $192.50 a foot. 72-inch, $210.60 a foot. 78-inch is $309.40 a foot. 84-inch, $320 a foot. 90-inch, $242.50 a foot. 96-inch is $367.50 a foot. 108-inch, 108-inch is $530 a foot, and 120-inch 10 gauge is $565 a foot. Then we got the equivalents. 66.51, 66-inch by 51-inch is $263.40. 73-inch by 55-inch is $288.85. 81 by 59-inch is $315. 87-inch by 63-inch is $340. 95 by 67 is $366.60. 103 by 71 is $376.75. 112 by 75-inch is $404.40. 128-inch by a 83-inch is $583, and 142-inch by 91-inch is $646.25. Again, we got the same price for connecting bands. 12-inch is 2.5 times the bid price per foot. 24-inch is 3 times the bid price per linear foot. Same oversized charge at $12.50 a truck. Minimum order of 5,000, and the same freight charge is $6.50 a linear foot.
You know, Nick, I almost feel compelled to give you a round of applause.
honestly feel like, Brenda, that's a lot of numbers altogether. That was amazing. Do we have any fuel?
No fuel received.
Oh, that's sad. Uniforms?
I received one uniform, but it was turned in at 9:30 this morning, well past the 9 o'clock deadline.
That's sad. That's sad, boys.
So we have a couple options there. We can rebid it,
Yeah.
or you have the ability to pick and choose now without any successful bidders. You can bring if you want to do that, you can bring it back to court to
Yeah, because typically our fuel charges are $40,000 a delivery. So that would be just each time I show up, just bring you all prices, and then, it
or you can
fluctuates.
present an annual contract like we do now.
Okay, perfect. Got it. Okay, so that's all of our bid openings, correct?
For
I believe
you-
it is.
For you, yes.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah, elevator bids. James, would you mind coming back to the podium, please?
And Judge, if I could ask a quick question of Nick. When you bring these back to us in our packet to review, will you have any other documentation showing what the previous contracts we've had with these different vendors?
I'll set them up in an Excel sheet, show you all 2022 bids and 2023 bids. Typically what we use, what we have. The corrugated metal pipes, I believe is a new bid. We didn't have that last year.
I see.
But I'll have that in there. That way I'll have everything tied out, and I'll have to give you all sheets. That way you all can keep in your truck and kind of, so y'all know when we're replacing a pipe that's a 72-inch pipe or 84-inch pipe, y'all kind of know what we're playing with on numbers and cost-wise. So.
That's great, yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
that.
James, will you help us open these elevator bids? 2 elevator contracts, one for this building and one for the Judicial Center. Annual elevator contract, service contract.
No pressure, James, but Nick did a really good job.
Big shoes to fill.
Now smart off.
That's right.
Is this for the courthouse or the Judicial Center?
This one is for the Judicial Center. No,
And it-
courthouse.
Courthouse.
This was for here. This is from Peak Performance Maintenance Program. Monthly cost, is what I'm saying here, is $125 a month, which is $1,500 annually.
Who is our current vendor, remind me?
Oracle. That's it for the courthouse.
So Oracle did not bid the courthouse.
I did not receive a bid from Oracle.
James, why don't you go ahead and open TDKs for the courthouse? That way you can get the courthouse done. This is actually the first year we've received any bids for the elevator service in quite a number of years, so.
Okay. All right, for the Judicial Center, we're looking at $777.60 a month. And for the courthouse, we're looking at $194.67 a month.
Okay.
And there's copies for,
And that's with TDK,
yes, or TKE.
TKE?
Yeah.
Maybe we
Nice.
can distribute those afterwards.
Yes.
Okay. And for the Judicial Center with Peak Performance, it's $500 a month, which is $6,000 annually. And I think- And this is all one and the same. That's it.
That was the two bids.
Yep.
So you and I'll look over those and bring a recommendation. These for HVAC.
These are for HVAC, yes.
So let's make sure we do all courthouse first.
Okay.
Can.
This is from DeBraw, who is our current HVAC contractor.
We will have copies for all this information for each magistrate afterwards.
Preventive maintenance contract for the Henderson County Courthouse is $12,000, 286 cents. Or that's for year 2. For year 1 is also $12,286. So we don't see it at price increase in the first 2 years. Goes up 5% on the 3rd year and 5% again on the 4th year if contract extends.
These are bidded yearly, right? Or
Do what?
These are generally, it's a 1-year contract with a 3-year option.
Okay.
Next we have Perfection Group. Preventive maintenance agreement for Perfection Group is $15,072, which breaks down to $3,768 per quarter. And then next we have HMC. These are the contractors for the jail, from what I understand. They will furnish the service $6,482 with semi-annual payments of $3,241. And that's all the courthouse bids. Move on judicial.
If you want to bring those up here, get them out of your way.
Yeah. This is from DeBraw, again, our current contractor. And we are looking at $26,488 a year, which is $66.22 quarterly. Again, same price for year 2 with a 5% increase on year 3 and 4.
And in those bids and pamphlets, gives the details of what all is included, parts, labor, everything like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
These expenses are also mitigated by state payments.
Right, right.
And this is Perfection, and their agreement is $25,104 with a $6,276 quarterly payment.
That's it?
That's it.
You didn't get one, HMC didn't bid the Judicial Center? No?
Okay, we'll take all those under review, bring back a recommendation. You knew that was going to happen. You're too tall a stack. Okay. Kurt, anything else remaining?
No. Okay, that's all you.
Okay. With that, I'll bring Nick back up. Nick, if you want to come back up and talk about some needs you have on equipment.
All right, we got a few things I was wanting to try to get okays to go out and get bids for or to purchase. Everything is going to be below the $30,000 mark, and everything I found is on a state contract or should be on a state contract. Main thing we're wanting to do is to get a shear for the end of one of our great aws. That gives us a long reach, 25-foot reach. We can grab trees, cut tree limbs back. Makes it a little cleaner than using our arm mower. You know, it comes through and tears everything up and shreds things. You know, now it's that's a lot quicker, a lot more, a lot faster. But it doesn't make pretty cuts in front of places that are close to houses. It throws a lot of shrapnel. You know, we've got places we can use and places we can't. So the shear would come into play definitely in places like that. We can grab the tree, cut the limb. We can load it back in the truck and get it out of there and take it for disposal somewhere else. Same thing with one of our arm mower is a Tiger arm mower. We're looking at getting a 54-inch saw blade. It goes to the end of our mower instead of having a blades that'll cut, grind up. This will actually have a saw blade that actually cut, make a clean cut. Again, we utilize another piece of equipment that'll make better cuts. We can actually take care of the whole entire county. We had places that we would skip and just couldn't get to. Now we can with those two pieces of equipment. They're fairly economical, and they'll definitely be a good asset to have to the county for debris maintenance. Another thing I was wanting to do is try to go out and try to find a dump bed around a 14-foot dump bed trailer for our solid waste crew. They do a lot of illegal dumps, and some of these dumps are big enough to where we got to take a truck and then take a great all with us to get it out at the dump. You don't have no way to get rid of it. We got mattresses, we got couches, we got things that are too big for somebody to grab, and now you're tying up two pieces of equipment to get out to the dump to get rid of them, or wherever we got to take them to take care of it. So with this dump trailer, they can load them, get them out of there, take them to the dump, and then obviously can automatically dump the hydro dump bed. So that will definitely help out and kind of not tie up two pieces of equipment. It'll be utilized there. Parks can use it for services on theirs. Having tree limbs, things they cut up, leaves, whatever they have. Again, it'd be dual purpose. Also, we are looking to purchase a aluminum box culvert. The county hasn't used them, but in my previous employment at the state, I put in countless aluminum box culverts. They're a good asset for small bridges. They're all a state contract bought through Contech. The bridge out there on Burbank, it's a very, very narrow bridge built, I think, in the 20s is what was tattooed on the bridge. Now we're looking to replace that with an aluminum box culvert, trying to bring it out to 20 feet, give it a wide opening. Thing that also helps with aluminum box culverts, they can have them manufactured in about 3 weeks, the tins themselves, and then they show up to the job. we also have a contract that they can put them together while we're taking the old one out. It'll be 100% done by county. We'll take the old one out, build the road bed, the pipe bed, put the new one in, backfill, and then we cover with rock, let it settle for a couple months, then we can asphalt over top of it. 100% done by the county, short of the assembly crew putting together the box. I put in probably 12 or 13 with the state, and it's a week at best, having the road shut down. So I'm hoping maybe to tie this thing in right before planting season, if possible. We get the okay. Y'all give me the okay to go ahead and purchase it. I'll get the delivery order sent to them. They'll have it manufactured within 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Have it show up on site. We'll go ahead and dig the old one out, put the new one in. At worst case, first week or two of March.
What's the plan on that? What, the road will be closed?
Yeah, yes, it'll have to be that, and that end will have to be closed for the 4 days it takes, 4 or 5 days to take to do it. I understand. I mean, I know it's terrible. I don't know the other way to replace it.
There's a way out the backside of Burbank Road around,
Yep.
right? I know it's a
And
detour,
again,
but-
yeah, and again, what we're trying to dodge is high water, and also farming. So, if it's advantageous, we'll hold off and go in the summer. Well, we don't have flooding, and then we'll do it then. Or everybody just have to deal with a narrow culvert through that point in time. But again, the time frame's no big deal. The prices are yearly contracts, so I can purchase anywhere from now through June. Typically, now's the time frame where they don't have a lot of backup at their plant. They can get them out to me early. So it doesn't matter to me either way. I would just like to get that replaced. I know it needs to be. There's no other options with the 14-foot wide bridge. I can't do half width. Replace something and put it back in. So it will have to be a closure. That's the reason why I like these aluminum box culverts, because they can be put in 4 to 5 days versus 3 weeks, 4 weeks for a conventional bridge.
I'd suggest we let Nick use his discretion. The only thing I'd say is make sure we notify the 3 or 4
Absolutely.
homeowners
Yeah.
back
and,
there.
And again, I'm perfectly fine with going to purchases, having it. Something opens up that we think we can make it happen. Thing is we'll know within a week typically what rains come in. Heavy flooding, you get 3 or 4 days kind of notice that we can get to it and have it replaced quickly. That's what's awesome about it. Everything works out right. Small culvert like it is, we could possibly have done it in 3 days. I'm not going to put that on record, but it could be 3 or 4 days.
Nick,
So,
these, both the equipment items you mentioned and this culvert fit within your current budget line items?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know about you, Magistrate Southern, but I'd love to have Burbank Road absolutely complete, done forever and ever.
Me too.
So, if it's within budget, I don't necessarily think Nick needs our permission. How much is the culvert? It's on state contract.
Yeah,
so.
state contract is, I think it's like 38,000.
A state contract means it's approved vendor with the state, and we have 2 choices for anything over $30,000. Is either bid it out or we can buy it through state contract, and the state allows us to do that. So sometimes buying on state contract is much more efficient than going through the bidding process, especially if it's available.
And I did get this, talk to Frankfurt, and I did get a list of all their applicable state contracts. There's like 300 of them. I narrowed it down to about the 50 that we would possibly use, everything from dump trucks to road stripe, everything. So that way I can always check with their prices. If it's something the state buys a lot of, it'll help out some prices. Now, material-wise, typically, we can get a better price locally than we can off state contract, but other things are 100%. I know that's all of our trucks are bought off a state contract because the state buys so many trucks. It's economical for the county to jump on board.
So with your approval, I'd say full speed ahead on that aluminum culvert.
Absolutely.
These other purchases are within budget, so.
Nick, just asking about aluminum bridge compared to the types of bridges that we normally put in. Lifespan, is it equivalent or longer?
Oh,
or?
yeah. They're equivalent. They're 50-year is what most people put on a bridge. It's a 50-year lifespan. But as you can see, a lot of these bridges out here are a lot longer than that. The thing about Luna Box Culvert is it's a pipe on steroids, basically. It's got, it's ribbed, it's got its bridging, it's 12 gauge, 10 gauge in places. So it's just a structural masterpiece, basically, to put a bridge in quicker. Typically with the bridge, longer bridges, now they have their limits. I think around 25 feet, they start becoming non-economical versus a typical bridge because your gauge of your metal is so heavy, you're doubling up all your ribs. You just it's a structural problem. But for small bridges, you can't beat ripping out, tearing out, putting a pipe bed in, and putting a new bridge in place. You can't beat the time frame.
So structurally, they're also very.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
And, yeah, they're HS-25 bridge. They're state standard. So.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Treasurer Ryder, we have a couple.
If I can interrupt for a minute, Judge, I went back because I thought HMC had said they put in a bid for a judicial center, and James Stover looked it here.
Okay. Want to read it?
So they had put $6,482 for the courthouse, but they also included $7,460 for the judicial center from HMC for the HVAC system.
Okay. I'll add this to review pile.
Yep.
Thank you.
This is the second reading of the Budget Amendment Number 3 for the current fiscal year. This is amending in unbudgeted receipts to the general fund and to the state grants fund in the amount of $18,076. These receipts include for the general fund matching grant funds for an additional vehicle for EMA, and in the state grants is a $500 spay and neuter grant, which is a pass-through to the Humane Society. Again, the amount of this budget amendment number 3 is $18,076.
We make amendments to the budget when there are certain types of unexpected revenue. We can amend that in. It takes 2 readings to amend the budget, and this is the second reading of this one. This was approved, I think, the last meeting of December.
Yes, sir.
First time, so this is the second reading. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Get a motion, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Get a motion.
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. I feel like I'm auctioneer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and we have a second amendment related to what we just voted on earlier with Pratt.
Yes. This is the first reading of Budget Amendment Number 4 for the current fiscal year. This is amending into the budget $1 million into the general fund, which is from a prior year surplus, and will be transferred to the Economic Development Fund for the access roads for Pratt paper, which was voted on at the 7/30/2021 meeting, and the resolution was earlier in this meeting. Again, the amount of this budget amendment number 4 is $1 million.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any claims?
Yes, I have some claims. From the road fund to Visa in the amount of $572.12. This is for miscellaneous expenses, which the majority of these will be taken from the maintenance and repairs equipment appropriation line. From the jail fund to Advanced Document Solutions, $778.53. This is for copier leases and is to come from the data processing equipment appropriation line. To Republic Services, $612.60, which is for monthly service and is to come from the contracted services appropriation line. To U.S. Bank, which is the credit card, $4,193.37. The majority of this is to come from the training travel appropriation line. And
Move
that's
to
all.
pay the claims.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go to the county, I do want to ask the court's blessing on bidding out both of the current boilers at the Judicial Center. One boiler we've identified a crack, and the remaining boiler is now heating the Judicial Center. but we wanted to see about replacing both. They're old, and if you've been following over the years the challenges of the utilities and systems in the Judicial Center, it's every year there seems to be something breaking. And instead of trying to limp them along for another year or two, we thought we'd bid out both boilers and appeal to the Administrative Office of the Courts to fund this. The first step is to bid it out. So just wanted to give your permission to go ahead and submit an RFP out there and see what kind of bids we can get.
Judge, I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions about that?
Have we looked at doing away with boilers and going into a different system?
No, but our current provider, DeBra Kemple, we can ask them to their opinion on that. They're the ones servicing it now under contract, and they're making this recommendation.
I think we should just see what they say. Just to see.
That could be part of the RFP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would anybody from the audience like to say anything for good of the county? Hearing none, we'll start as we normally do. If you've seen this, for our new members, just anything you'd like to say about your district, anything in general, for good of the county. And we'll start with Master Southern, so we don't put the pressure on Bill to come up with good of the county right off the bat. Master Southern.
I just want to congratulate you, Grace. That's a big deal. There's a lot of people in South Junior High, and you got picked to be the one to represent. So that says a lot. Obviously, you have a strong backing, and that's good because we need. When we're children, we don't realize how important our parents and family are. But as we get older, we understand that they're the reason why we are the way we are. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
And all's good in District 3.
Thank you. Master Tompkins.
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and I'd just like to echo Magistrate Southern. Congratulations, young lady. It's the thing that stood out to me, not only your exceptional achievement, is the fact that you say, sir and ma'am. I heard you say it 4 different times. That's something that doesn't get done very often today in a society of yeah and no. And I can tell you, I often joke, I still say sir and ma'am to everybody that got a handprint in the back of my head for every time I didn't say it growing up. So congratulations on that as well. Being a good person is a choice. So very proud of you. Proud for you, Mom and Dad. Congratulations again. And hitting the ground running in District 2, doing a few things, but all is well. Thank you.
Thank you. Master Putman.
When you go third, I used to get to go first every now and then I sit on the end, but when you get to the third, fourth, and fifth, going down the line, it gets a little tougher. But Craig, just congratulations. I've said this many times, and I don't have an exact number, but going back to Magistrate Southern's comments about what a big deal this is. I think we started doing this in 2011, and approximately there's probably been 130, 35 students that come through here in all this time. I mean, that speaks volume. And I know you come from a very good stock, and I could see when everybody come up here how proud they were of you. And I would just tell you just to continue with, keep on with the keeping on. Looks like you headed in the right direction. And congratulations, and enjoy your lunch today. And all is good in the 4th, Judge.
Thank you. Master Starks.
Thank you, Judge. If you'll indulge me, I brought a few notes. But seriously, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here today and for watching. And I will make this brief. And I did also want to say greetings to our young judges scholar, and I agree this is probably one of the best things that we do. And hopefully we can find maybe even more ways that we can better educate and help our young people understand what county government is here for and how it can help them. But I just want to certainly congratulate you. Just like Master Putman said, stay on the right path, continue doing what you're doing, And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, but if you continue to study hard and apply yourself, you'll create your own luck. And I think there's great things ahead for you. So thank you for indulging us with all the business. You picked a great meeting to come to, and of course, chock full of procedures and votes. But at least the good thing, it was long. So, no, we're certainly wish you all the best. And enjoy your lunch. Judge and fellow magistrates, it's hard for me to believe that I'm actually here doing this work. It is a fantastic opportunity to serve our community, and I don't take that lightly at all. I've learned a lot in just a very short period of time, but I know there's still a lot to learn. And I appreciate all the staff and the other elected officials in helping Taylor and I to get acclimated and understand the workings of the judge. Had a great orientation for us not too long ago in this very chamber, and we're going to continue to learn what it means to be a elected official and to be a member of this court. And so I do appreciate all that guidance. Along with Magistrate Berry and also Magistrate Tompkins and the judge, attended a very special meeting yesterday at the Extension Service office, and I'll let the judge talk more about that, but I thought it was a very good session that the Chamber of Commerce put together to hear from our local growers and what their key issues are, and certainly that's what I want to do. I'm not going to talk as much as I have in my previous career. I'm going to try to listen more and absorb, and then understand what people are faced with today and how we can then help them with that. But I did ask or suggest to the Chamber that they might consider doing that again, even sooner than next year, as a follow-up, especially after this General Assembly session, to kind of bring the farmers up to date on any actions that may be taken in this session and elsewhere that can help them address some of those issues that were brought up at yesterday's meeting. But it was very good, very well attended out at the Extension office, and it was also good to see some of our FFA students were there, seeing what it's going to be like for them as they proceed their future in agriculture. I'm looking forward to this week's Kentuckians for Better Transportation sessions that we're going to have in Louisville. There's newly elected magistrates training that we're going to be participating in with the County Magistrates Association, and the State Auditor's Office has a day-long session that I'm looking forward to as well, and also the Martin Luther King Jr. Day observance. That'll be a special event coming up next Monday. And I'm looking also forward to serving on these boards and commissions that we've been appointed to. And with that, all is good.
Thank you. Reported like a true journalist. I appreciate that. Very linear.
Say,
very
I've
bullet
been
points.
missing that speak up. Here's what's going on in the community. That was great.
I thought it ironic this morning. I spent my whole life behind a microphone, and look where I'm at again. So it's ironic.
Thank you, Bill. Magistrate Berry.
Boy, it's hard to follow Magistrate Starks. I don't know what to say. I think when you go last, you don't have to say much because everybody's covered everything.
Yeah,
So
but you're not going last. I usually get that.
Well, yeah, that's true. You always save something really good for last. So, I guess congratulations, Gray. I'll give you the bad news now. You have to pass that test that Nick was talking about before you get to eat. So I will throw that in. No, I'm joking. We hope anyway. Thank all the department heads, everybody that came to court today. Welcome the new magistrates, Tompkins and Stark, Bill. I think everything's good in District 1 as far as I know. It's subject to change. But I think right now we're good. Thank the family for coming. That's a great support team you have there, great. I know most of them. Great family. Come to court anytime. Come back. Yeah, and you can come anytime. Great. All right. I think we're good in District 1, Judge. Over to you. Thank you.
I'm turning it over to Mr. Gold.
Well, so I, as the judge alluded to earlier, I normally say to our judges, scholars, about 90% of what we do here is boring but important. It fits in that category. Every once in a while we get something really interesting. Sometimes we have boring but unimportant, but usually it's boring but important. I think we exceeded that threshold today pretty far, didn't we? Sorry about that, but it is important what we do and keeping an eye on on people's money and making sure that we're spending it right. And one thing that I can say, Ray, is a whole lot of young people have sat next to me, and not all of them have paid the kind of attention that you have, even to the really boring stuff that went on. So that says a lot about you, and I could tell your family. A lot of times I lean over and kind of try to explain what's going on. She was with it. She was asking like really good questions. It's like, oh yeah. Now I don't think she knew that we bought that much rock. There's a lot of rock, but several hundred miles of road to be paving and grading and things like that. So it's big money and important. But I know and think the world of people on both sides of your family. I know you've got a heck of a team behind you, and I know you've got a bright future ahead of you. And, if you could just keep that Reverend Clifford guy that you see very much from having too much of an influence, because the bad jokes will just, no. He's my pastor. I can say that about him, and I love him, and I think the world of him. But, great seeing you growing up in the church and with a great family around you. So really proud of you and everything that you're doing. Things are good in the county attorney's office, always something going on, and the beginning of the year is always new agreements, new contracts, lots of stuff to go over. We're working on that. We're happy to be keeping an eye on some legislation. The legislature is in session, and the old saying is that nobody's life, liberty, or pocketbook is safe while the legislature is in session, and that is all true in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Just like any other state. So we're keeping an eye on several pieces of legislation that affect not just the county attorney's office, but also counties in general, and encourage each of the magistrates to stay in tune with your association and with CAECO, because sometimes what we find out during a session, especially a short session like this, is a bill will just pop out of the blue, and then it'll be on a rocket sled to passage, and it may not be something that is particularly good for counties, and so sometimes they need you to get on the phones and work the phones pretty hard. So we're going to be keeping an eye out on those, and also keeping near to what CAECO is saying about those things. But other than that, things are great in the county attorney's office. And I understand the judge is taking you to lunch, right? Mm-hmm. So get double dessert. Make him pay, okay? You deserve it.
Thank you, Mr. Golden. Actually, Gray's going to Lions Club with me to meet Mr. Mayor Winnicky and to see what Lions is all about and hang with us, a good group of people.
Well, I'll see you at lunch then.
Yeah, and there are plenty of desserts on that table at Lions Club, so yeah, you still get. But congratulations, and we're really proud of you. I am proud that you lasted through what is a lengthy meeting, 1st of January. We always have these kind of things to take care of, and it's not a lot of interesting subject matter, but as Steve said, it's important. Welcome formally to Sheriff Stauffer. Glad you're here. Again, this is, not all meetings are like this, Chip, but sometimes in your world, boring is good, right? So we actually did cover a lot of ground today, and I compliment our new magistrates for hanging with this. But it wasn't all just bid openings. If you notice, we did some good things, and we're going to talk about some more things here in a second. But I appreciate you. Glad you're here. For all the department heads, it's a new year. Time to onward and upward, and looking forward to working with everybody in the room. And with that, I'm going to ask for, first of all, permission to go into executive session, and then we'll describe why we're going into executive session. So if anybody want to help me make a motion to approve going into executive session, or at least asking.
So move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session for KRS 61.8101G, discussions between a public agency and a representative of a business entity and discussions concerning a specific proposal. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. We're going to go into executive session. We do not anticipate any vote resulting from this executive session. So we're basically done for the day. and I'll get with your family, Gray, to talk about what we do next. But we are going to go back in the conference room, an executive session with members of our economic development team. Thank you very much.
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
yeah, here we go.